Everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Brand New Gig. If you are joining us for the very first time, welcome. We are so happy to have you. And if you are a returning guest and you weren't here last week, I'm putting all the blame on you because we had the biggest scare of our lives against South Carolina. And I told you guys that we were undefeated because you keep returning week after week. So let's clean that up this week. Thank you for joining us today. I'm joined by very special guests, plural. AgKnocks, please introduce yourselves and tell the people where they can find you.
So I'm AgJack, part of AgKnocks. You can find us at AgKnocks on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of the good stuff. And you probably hate us, or you probably at least know who we are.
Nice intro, AgJack. I'm Tom Ag, also a part of AgKnocks. You can find us same places on X at AgKnocks.com.
Yes, sir. And then your boy Shrek, just repping, diversity hire, bringing the injury news. Just grilled some Texas fan this week for like 5,000 ratios on there. It's been a good weekend.
But the good thing with haters is you're still getting engagement. So it's always good. So we'll see. Stuff continues to roll itself out. And engaging with Brandon Walker today. So we're going to see if I can maybe up the engagement there, but I don't think there are a lot of fans of Brandon Walker that will be watching this podcast. I think the Venn diagram is pretty simple. But if you're not subscribed to this channel, please go do so right now. Go click the button on YouTube. And if you're not subscribed to AgKnocks, go do the same thing. We are going to jump into our first segment of the day, which is Off the Ledge. The thing is, with Samford, we should hopefully not have that many issues. The most glaring issue that we just talked about with you guys, is injuries. What do you have? Well, I think the question is, how much do we want to run the table before we play it safe and get our 2s and 3s in?
So that's the question, right? Is a lot of people are saying Le'Veon might be healthy enough to come back this week against Samford. Do you let him get a few reps to get the rust knocked off in the Samford game before we get into Texas? How do we view the Samford opponent? They're 1-10. They're one of the worst teams of all time, as we were just discussing pre-show. Their only win is against a team that has one win, and it's against a D3 opponent. This is basically a high school football team that A&M is playing up against. It's not even an exaggeration at this point. So are we concerned about reps and injuries and wear and tear against a team like this? I don't really know, but I also don't know if the reps are that valuable for our guys.
I would even go on a limb and say Le'Veon shouldn't even be back against Texas. Hot take it, but Le'Veon shouldn't be back against Texas. This game right here, going up against Samford, this is not a game you go and get rust off of. We are too far into the season. Guys are already dinged up. You're not going to get that much healthier. Just taking a couple reps off. Take the full game off. Don't put yourself in harm's way.
Me personally, if I'm Colin Klein, I go to Google and I look up Emmitt Smith's single game rushing record while at Florida and let EJ Smith break that. That's what I would do. But, what do I know?
It does feel like an EJ Smith game for sure.
Please in the comments to see what it ends up being. But we can not feel the way we did against South Carolina. I'm ready to just let them loose and just play everyone on the sideline. But because we have less to talk about for our upcoming opponent, I'm going to give y'all some narratives that I've seen from the national media. And this isn't to say that everyone thinks this, but I've seen at least one person say all of these things. So I'm just going to let y'all kind of have fun with it. So the first of these is that the South Carolina game proves that A&M is fraudulent and not a national championship team.
Let me start here. Are you, Tom? Do you want to go, or do you want me to go?
I got this.
Raise his
Hand up, ready. So 1 and 2 both can be. It can be true both ways. You go out and you give up a first half against an Alabama, against literally any other team with a winning record, you're not going to come back in that game. Thank God it was South Carolina, and thank God we did come back, because only teams that win championships are capable of proving a comeback like that. And the 0-2 68 record speaks for itself.
Yes, 100% agree. That first half performance is about as bad as it gets, but I think you can tell that things had snowballed and it was almost circumstantial. But for the resilience of the team to come back, not only are you having a second half where standalone, that's championship second half in general against any SEC opponent, regardless of what happened before that, to bounce back and have that willpower and that trust in your teammates and the resilience to come out there and just get it done. Score, stop, score, stop, score, stop, score, stop. Legitimately, that's how it went. That's a championship team. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know that people wanted to bury us at halftime. Everybody on Twitter, your boy Brandon Walker, they were dancing on our grave at halftime because they were just ready. They were like, oh, it's November. It's the Aggies. This is what we were waiting for. This is the best way it could possibly happen. Elco just got extended. This is where we're at. And they already in their minds had gotten there. They were not ready for what happened in the second half, and they're not ready to take back the takes. They want to all say, hey, this team's fraudulent. We saw that they're fraudulent. We saw that what they're capable of. But I think we just proved, hey, we can overcome anything in any game, and we can score on anybody, and we can get stops when we absolutely need to.
Yeah, I think it was a quote from Ashton Bethel Roman saying something along the lines like, that they really put that they never had a moment where they thought like, okay, this game is 100% over. That they just like basically went arm in arm and said, we're gonna come back from this. And I think he went on to say, like, that's something that I see these guys as my brothers. I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life. And it's like that's something special, bro. Like, there's like just glue in that locker room where like they genuinely really care about each other, which in the NIL age is a tough thing to come around, I would say.
Do you think there was a part of them that expected to come out of the locker room and see the stadium a little bit cleared out?
I thought so. Whenever I saw the stadium as full as it was, because immediately you had to have the thought of whenever LSU cleared house at their stadium, like some people were going to leave, right? And they went back out, and there wasn't even a missing seat. No one left. That's crazy.
I mean, look, circumstantially, right? This was one of the most expensive home games of the year. People did pony up to get into this game. Johnny Manziel was there. It was an 11 a.m. game. I think at nighttime, if you're down by 30 at halftime, people are a little drunk. They want to get home. It's a little bit different of a scenario, but it worked out for us. And I never thought that people were going to leave. I had mentally probably checked out at halftime, but I still was going to watch. I did comment on the Aggies official page when they said there will be a second half. I said, I wish there wasn't. And we've gotten flack for that, but it's okay because it's part of the emotions of watching this team play. And it's not that we gave up on the team. It's that we're trying to protect ourselves from the pain that we felt so many times. And for whatever reason, this team is different, and they proved it today.
Yeah, I had just gotten this, like, went up to College Station for a wedding, grabbed this, like, super nice brand new jersey, and I was like, first game, putting it on for South Carolina. And then I see, like, the snowball of just shit. And I was like, all right, I'm taking this off. So, but remember, we don't believe in curses anymore, bro. Elco rises above it. I'm wearing
changed
jersey
shirts
again.
No, I changed shirts.
Elco rises above all, and that's why every seat in that stadium had a butt in it throughout the entire game.
And it's a good thing that none of us have to suit up because I put no fault in anyone, but there was no way anyone in that stadium believed that we were coming back, even though we did all stay. The good thing is only the people in that locker room have to believe we could come back, and they did. And we did come back. The next point that I've seen, this is a two-parter, so you can address both and or whatever you want to talk about. Part one, A&M has an easy schedule. And part two is A&M has played 4 fired coaches.
We've gotten those coaches fired for the most part, right? I
3 of the
mean,
4.
partially. We got to play our schedule, and this is what happens every time somebody new rises to the top, right? If you're unexpected when it comes to CFP rankings by the end of the year, and people, what were we ranked preseason? Like 24 or whatever?
21, I think.
21. People are uncomfortable when new things like this happen. And if we don't have that Georgia name, we don't have that Texas name, an Alabama name in front of our little number, they're going to be upset. Like everybody online has been very upset this week. And it's shown that people just don't like when we're on top. So they're going to say what they're going to say. They're going to try to pull every stat possible to belittle us. But at the end of the day, we're undefeated and we're in the spot that we are. And we're locked for the playoff, and all we got to do is win in the playoff. Who cares? I don't think this team's peaked yet, to be honest with you.
I agree with that, actually. I don't think the team has peaked. I think we can actually get better than what we've already done, which is crazy. But to say that we have an easy schedule, we have the schedule that we were given. Yeah, the teams on it suck. Sorry about it. We went up to Notre Dame, beat a winning team, beat a top 10 team already. We've done that. If that's really going to be the argument you're going to hit us with, you better be slamming Indiana with it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's like a personal vendetta against us at this point. Like, I think that everybody's seen the roller coaster meme where like November comes around, A&M's gonna blow it, and it hasn't happened, and everybody's just like waiting for that moment where it's like, oh, I told you so. Because like Indiana's track record's kind of worse. Like, well, obviously outside of the true glory days for them. But besides that, like you look at the Penn State game, like Fernando Mendoza's been playing pretty well, I will say. But I would not say that, oh my goodness, like that is a for sure bona fide, like no doubter number 2 country in the nation either. But nobody's giving them that flack, you know, the same way that we're being looked at under a microscope. Like it's like, oh, that makes sense for them because look what they've done. And we don't get that grace.
We've always said that the go ahead.
No, you go. I follow.
No, I was going to say, we've always said, like, especially on our podcast, like the SEC schedule is like an NFL schedule. Like there's no weeks off with anybody, especially like Vanderbilt. Like they used to be the week off, right? They're not a week off anymore. They're a top 20 team. So if any team goes undefeated in this league, regardless of where those teams land on the standings, I don't think it matters at all. These are the most talented players in college football. In the Big Ten, you're going to have 5 or 6 games you could probably take off. And if you look at, like Shrek just said, Indiana and Ohio State's schedule, no one's blinking that they're not going to have a team within 25 points the rest of the year.
I'm going to sound like a huge Aggie homer when I say this, but I don't really care. The difference between Indiana and A&M is that Indiana is a true Cinderella in which no one ever expects them to be good. No one's going to expect them to go on a run for many seasons to come. This just seems like a very fun year for someone to come in Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, whatever. The thing with A&M is everyone knows that we have all the resources in the world to be a brand name like all those other schools are. We just haven't yet. It's like a dormant team that just hasn't woken up. And I think everyone is scared that we have woken up because the thing about our program is we have all the money, we have the facilities, the resources, the coaches, the recruits. We're in arguably the best state in the country to get talent out of high school. We know how to work the portal. If A&M figures it out, they are just as scary as any other team in the country. And I think that's why we get all the flack for our schedule and Indiana doesn't have to hear a peep. And why last week's game against Penn State, it was Fernando's Heisman moment, and it was a huge comeback win, and they faced adversity, and they proved that they're a championship team. And maybe that's an Aggie homer take, but that's where I'm sitting with that one.
I feel the same way. I'm Aggie homer on that, just like you. I've always thought that the person who figures it out at A&M, it's a sleeping giant. Like it's at one point, the wins are just going to win themselves because of everything that we've already built. For Indiana specifically, the Cinderella take, I like that a lot. But one thing that about Indiana specifically that just makes me so angry is that they'll go and beat a really, really bad UCLA team or a really, really bad insert Purdue or some really bad Big Ten team. They'll go and beat them by 10 points. The spread will be 9.5. They'll cover. So you'll hear on the football side about how they're the best thing ever. They're Cinderella, everything like that. On the betting side, you'll hear the same thing, and it drives me absolutely nuts. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Are they like really good against the spread or something?
I think so. I think they only have one loss this year against the spread, being the Penn State game.
We had covered in like 6 straight games, and we talked about that on last week's pod, how Vegas was gearing up to make some money back on A&M. I think that's what they did this week.
We're talking about Indiana, and we're talking about Fernando Mendoza. So my next point actually transitions perfectly. For anyone who says, especially after this past game, that Marcel Reed is not a Heisman quarterback or not a Heisman contender, period.
Fuck them.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No, stand on that, AgJack.
I mean, the reality is like, okay, I think this is where we can actually talk about like the haters and everybody online and stuff, because the CFP, like, we're locked, right? There is some sentiment that goes into that with the public perception, but it's not entirely. It's more subjective. It's more based on numbers. The Heisman is a media award. We've been saying it all year. We control that narrative, and that's why we've tried to get out in front as AgKnocks to be like, hey, look at what Marcel's doing, and look at the story of Marcel Reed, everything that comes with it. Fernando Mendoza, great. Dude transferred. He's having a good season in Indiana. He's a system quarterback. There's no doubt about that. He's talented. He's going to get drafted high. He's good. He's performed. There's nothing special about his story. I don't think there's a draw to watch these Big Ten games. I don't think that the Heisman voters are leading that way. I think that it's all thrown at us by Fox, Barstool, everybody that's in bed with the Big Ten. They're trying to push a Big Ten Heisman. What we've got to do is reel this thing back in. Marcel is the fun, cool,
charismatic
enigma player that we all watched our entire lives growing up win Heisman, right? Like when we watched Heisman, it was Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel, Mark Ingram, people that had massive impacts on and off the field. Fernando Mendoza, and who's the other one? Julian Sayin. They're just quarterbacks on good teams. And you could say the same for Marcel, but Marcel is an exciting player. Obviously, he has that terrible first half, but all the more better story that he comes back and throws for, 300 yards in the second half? Leads his team to 5 touchdown drives or whatever it was. Like, that's insane.
Like, I'm an Aggie homer just as much as everybody else, but I did see some crazy parallels where they're like, Tom Brady also had a very bad first 3 quarters in that 28-3 like Super Bowl comeback, and I'm just like, all right, bro, let's dial it back a little bit here. Like, you're comparing the greatest Super Bowl comeback of all time to week 9 or whatever, week 10 in South Carolina.
And one thing on Julian Sayin in the Heisman contender race, his completion percentage is above 80%. Who in God's name are you playing? Like St. Jude's High School out of Iowa? What the hell? What do you mean?
It starts going the other way. Like if you're above 80% completion, there's something wrong. Like you gotta be between like exactly. There's like a bell curve for it. So fraud.
Well, I have this. I mean, this isn't A&M related, but I've been asking people, what is your take on Jacob Rodriguez being in New York?
I think that's a more fun story.
That's a good one.
Does he have a fake girlfriend somewhere?
He has a real wife.
Oh, damn. Well,
that was part of it too. Like Manti Te'o was there because of his dead girlfriend, and it's crazy that it ended up being fake. But that's part of the story. And like Manti Te'o, this Hawaiian guy, he's just like this leader at Notre Dame. Like that's part of Heisman. That's always been part of Heisman. It's not just like this hand it to the best quarterback on the best team. It's not the NFL.
What are you talking about, bro? Bryce Young just won the Heisman, dude.
Oh, dude, yeah, I forgot about that. Another hot take for Heisman. I think actually Cassius Howell deserves it more than most of the people on the list.
I think
Like he's gonna go
KCC.
have a 5-sack game against Samford. He might have a shot at the record with how many games are included in the CFP with all these playoff games.
I don't
The,
think I'll
the Heisman is a very unofficial quarterback award. And so for another offensive position to win would be crazy. For a defensive player to even end up in New York, I think they just have to be the most – not that Cassius Howell's not an insane freak of an athlete, but it's getting harder and harder, I think, for anyone that's not a quarterback to end up there.
If it were up to me, I would send KCC to New York. Like if we could actually represent ourselves with who I think our most impactful player is, and nothing against Marcel at all, I think Casey Concepcion has been the most important player on our team by far.
I would send Mike Elco's clipboard, bro.
Dude, I'd
Mike Elco's second on the defense. Let's see. Oh, okay. We've been talking about it anyway, so I'm just going to bring them up. Well, bring them up. You can feel free to bring them up. Do you believe that teams are rewarded for scheduling tough out-of-conference opponents?
No, not at all. There's no reward. Look, we are the best use case possible. We're undefeated. We're number 3 by default because there's a 0 in the loss column. We went up and beat another playoff team already this season by 1 point, literally the best game of the year so far, if not the South Carolina game, and then it's that game. It has not helped us above that because if we were not undefeated, we would be ranked 11, we'd be ranked 13, we'd be ranked 9, and we'd be on the bubble. We'd be our first team out, guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole Texas situation with that's a good example. Like them losing to Ohio State at the beginning was like if Ohio State would have played anybody else, they still would have been number 1 right now. If Texas would have been undefeated and played anybody else besides Ohio State, they still would have been number 1 right now. So I really don't think that it's gonna. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe like it depends where the chips fall and who loses to who and what other teams scheduled, but it's definitely not a huge advantage. I would say it's a disadvantage for sure.
I think this conversation is probably going to become irrelevant in the next couple of years because of the expanded SEC schedule, because we're kind of just building in another strong opponent. But these tune-up games like Samford are necessary. It's a long season. There's a lot of guys banged up that we need to get healthy for this last run. And you're asking these college teams to basically extend their season by an entire half season now when you're talking about an SEC title, a quarter or a home playoff game, a quarterfinal, a semifinal, and a national championship. So look, I don't blame him. I don't think it really comes down to who you played at the beginning of the year out of conference when you're in the SEC.
Yeah, I think once you get to 9 games starting next year, there's even less of an incentive. But I mean, it all kind of just boils. It's just talking points. If you don't win your games, you don't win your games. So that's where we sit there. Thankfully, we have won our games. The most recent of those being South Carolina. Lots to unpack there. First question being, this is like, give me your true, honest answer. When was the moment that you actually thought that we could win the game?
When Marcel got to 4th and 13 or 4th and 12, whatever.
Honestly, me too. Like not even being like that. Like that.
Yeah.
At that moment, I was like, okay, there's a spark. Like
we got some fight.
Like I was like, because before that moment, like at the 4th and 12, I was like, dude, if they're gonna punt it, like they're just gonna run another 4 minutes down. Like mathematically, like the time of possession has to be insane. And when they went for it on 4th and 12, the midfield or whatever, and Marcel ran it, and I was like, okay, there's a chance now. Like it was like the Harry met Lloyd meme where it's just like, you're telling me there's a chance. Like
so I tweeted at halftime that score stop, score stop, score stop, score stop. And I held to that. Watched a lot of football. I've been kicked in the nuts quite a few times with all of my teams throughout the years. And there's never a point where I was like, oh, we're going to win now. We can win now. But I knew what we had to do to have a chance to win. So, yeah, that first drive, we had to have it. We had to have a quick score. I knew if we had a quick score in a stop and another quick score, then we could have the momentum and the crowd back into it. And from there, you have that team on their heels and you start rolling and a couple balls bounce your way. And then all of a sudden you're back into it. I did not feel like we were going to for sure win the game until we were down by, I think it was 13. That was when I was like 13 was like 17 minutes left or whatever it was. I was like, okay, there's too much time left in this game. We're too good. We've got too much momentum. I feel like we're at least going to get it down to one score and have a shot to win this thing.
Especially when it's not even like one of the household names that steps up, makes the first play. Obviously, Marcel got the 4th and 12, but it's Isaiah Williams. It's first Texas A&M catch. All right, whatever. Into the end zone. First catch of this year. Sorry, I don't know if it's A&M catch, but first catch of the year into the end zone. What was that? Fade, slot fade, wheel route, whatever it was. It looked good. And then he had another like huge play. And then guess who ran the ball into the end zone and take the lead? Your third string running back, EJ Smith. Like,
yeah, dude, Marcel was slinging that thing in the second half, like the Ashton Bethel Roman touchdown, like stepping up for the Nate Borgature touchdown, like everything just looked great in that moment.
Shout out ABR, dude. Put the team on his back kind of a few times there.
Yeah.
After Marcel's touchdown got called back, I think it was one of his best balls of the year. Like, was placed perfectly on the sideline. It was like the very much ball don't lie moment because Marcel, I think, has had 3 at least touchdowns taken away this year because of holding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the big runs, the what do they call it, Shrek? There's a name for it, right?
What are you talking about?
Where they rip them down. I don't know enough offensive line ball to tell you. No, there's a name for it. People were talking about it all week on Twitter, like, oh, this is like old offensive linemen were like, oh, I hate that they call this a holding, and they called it something.
They did. That was a terrible call, though, bro. Like, you're just protecting your knees at that point. Like, so, like, former offensive linemen, like, those are big people that are falling. Like, you're a big person, right? But big people fall very, the bigger they are, the harder they fall type of thing. If you have another giant person falling at your shins, like, you will get folded, and it's not going to feel good. Like, good on them for doing that, man. Like,
dude, that should not be a holding. I broke a rib in 5th grade. A 300-pounder fell on me. Dude, it's no joke. Like,
that was in competitive tetherball or what?
No, it's Pee Wee football, but same concept.
As much as we loved the second half, I want to hear a little bit about what was most uncharacteristic for you. If the game were to have ended at halftime and you had to recap, okay, what did A&M do that just looked nothing like A&M? Just kind of, because, I mean, we could talk about this forever, but kind of give me the ones that stood out to you the most.
Wide receiver.
I think.
That's.
Yeah, I think Craver had one where he was like coming across, or maybe it was KCC, but it was like going to be a 3rd and 7 or something, and they were going to convert, and it just like, I don't even know what it was, bro. Like, it was.
KC missed one in the end zone.
I felt like Marcel lost his composure in the first half, and that was uncharacteristic of him and everything that they've done all year. And that was when the doubt was creeping in of the Heisman, and all the haters were coming out, and it just felt like the world was caving in on him, especially after some of those drops, because it felt like he wasn't trusting guys to make plays. So that, and along with some of the uncharacteristic, just boneheaded mistakes we were making, the turnovers, it just, if that's how the game was going to go, I think we would have just been talking about Elco and the operation as being kind of fraudulent from that point, and regretting giving him the extension, which was a nightmare scenario going through all of our heads at halftime. But we avoided that conversation.
I would pump the brakes on that, because we all know we start slow. Like, it's not a joke. Like, no one's going to argue with me and say that we don't start slow, right? That the second half is always way better than the first half.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's part of the nutrition.
Well, I mean, it felt like Murphy's Law in the first half, boys. Wide receivers dropping passes. Marcel could have thrown 5 interceptions in the first half, which is not himself. Wide receivers dropping the ball. We got the penalties on both sides. Like, we're getting torched on the ground. We're getting torched in the air. No one knows what's going on. There wasn't really one thing in the first half that you could tip your hat to except for Randy actually hitting a field goal.
Hey, good on Randy, bro.
Let's pump the brakes on giving Randy any credit for this game. Actually, I want to take this opportunity to tell Randy to go fuck himself because I'm tired of him coming up in spots like this.
Not our show.
No, but listen, it's okay. We need some spice here. So, Randy
Everyone
Barnes,
gets an opinion.
when you come up in that spot where your coaches are like, you know what, we're not going to go for it on fourth down. We're down by how much were we down by at that point? Like 17 or something. We were going to make it a 2-score game, and it's a 25-yard field goal, and you doink that. Like, this guy does not have it, and I need for the coaches to understand that he does not have it. Zirkel's healthy. Elco said this week. He said he's sticking with our boy Randy, which I don't know if I agree with, but how bad is Zirkel in practice? I just think that going forward, and I made a tweet about this earlier, it's like Tony Romo for our whole season talking to Jim Nance. We're in 4-down territory the rest of the way, boys. This is what it is. Like, in a big spot, I don't want Randy coming up. I don't care if it's 25 yards. I don't care if it's 60 yards. I don't want to see him kick in an important game, in an important point of the game I don't want it.
Okay.
Dude, it's funny that I completely blocked that out of my memory. Like, I forgot that he missed that 25-yarder when I said good on Randy. Like, there's just so much stuff that happened after that that genuinely didn't exist in my head anymore.
Well, and whenever he misses a 40-yarder, it's always like he hits it perfectly straight, but it's like 20 yards wide. It's never it never curls or slices. He hits it perfectly straight. He just aims wrong. And it's like, you could be a solid kicker, but you're just mentally cooked. And I don't want to deal with it anymore.
What a blessing it is to be complaining about the kicker, man. Wow.
We truly made it.
And Alabama are both in shambles when it comes to our kicker.
Redemption arc incoming. I won't slander Randy's name.
I will.
Not because I don't want to. I just feel like it's overblown.
I mean, oh, go ahead.
I was at the game, and I don't think I've ever heard people cheer louder for every extra point than I have that game because people were genuinely concerned that we wouldn't even make our extra points.
Yeah.
Like, when we tied the game 30-30, I couldn't even really celebrate the touchdown because I was like, it might just stay tied.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. I think it's going so far in that direction with Randy, with me at least, where there's no doubt that he's going to come up and make a game winner in the playoffs. And we're going to be like, actually, we love you, Randy. You're awesome.
Just walking back.
Yeah.
You don't get recruited to A&M as a kicker if you're not one of probably the top 25 kickers in the nation. So at this point, it's got to be purely mental. Because we're not recruiting some bum to come kick for us.
I don't know, Avery. We had Taylor Bertolette at one point in time. So
I've heard his name way too many times this week, and I'm trying to just get it out of my head.
Randy's got to figure it out.
He will.
We're just gonna hope that we are never in a scenario where it comes down to him winning or losing the game for us, and we're gonna leave it at that.
4-down territory the rest of the way.
2-point conversions only.
I will say this is the conversations that elite teams have. Like, when you look back,
it is fun for this to be the problem.
Yeah.
100%.
When you look back at historic playoff runs or these are successful teams' problems. Like, I can't believe our kicker doinked the 50-yarder to tie us in the whatever game it was.
Yeah. What are our problems? Our problems are we give up a 50-yard run once a game and Colin Klein does something stupid on the goal line once a game, and our kicker sucks. That's awesome.
Awkward.
Oh, man.
I don't think there was much that we did stylistically different. How much do you think we changed in the second half versus how much was it just, okay, this is actually the A&M team that we know?
Okay, so Elco does this. If you watch his defenses the first half of the game, it's boring. It is boring as hell. It is a base look. There's few blitzes that come. There's few stunts by the D lineman. There's nothing creative. The second half, it's like he's judging who you're trying to get the ball to. Once he knows who you're trying to get the ball to, he's going to design some of the nastiest blitzes and looks that you've ever seen. That's why we kept on getting back to Sellers in the second half. It felt like at least one to drive. I forgot what the question was even. I'm just thinking about that.
Dude, I saw one where I think it was a cornerback blitz, but then they perfectly rolled over where they panned out to show the sack, and then you can see the coverage, and you're missing your corner, and it was still beautifully covered. You were either throwing a pick, throwing it out of bounds, or getting sacked. There was no other options.
Yeah,
yeah. No, you go. I go.
I was gonna agree with what they're saying with Elco. He is like this evil genius and I feel like that's part of the starting slow, right? Is that we're kind of baiting these teams into a sense of comfort. Like, oh yeah, our game plan's good this week. We're good. We're gonna lean into this. They can't stop us. And Elco's like, yeah, sure. We're like, keep doing that. And then bang. So it's been a lot of that this year. And I think that the team just came out composed. I think they were a little shook going into the end of the second quarter. Marcel felt sped up. Like I said, the defense was kind of getting their ass whooped. A couple of plays where they missed a tackle and it led to like an 80-yard touchdown. Real MVP was that Sheriff that pushed the guy because the tone was just completely set after that. But I think that second half, they come out, they had to get that electric. It all came down to that 4th and 12. Like Marcel doesn't get that 4th and 12, we don't win that game. So they get a play like that, they get some juice, and then they just start trusting it. And Colin Klein put the right guys in the right spots, and dude stepped up. Like ABR said, you know what, we're not losing this game. And they started blocking better, and the defense stood up when they needed to. That last play, right? Cassius Howell gets dropped out as a spy and just follows Sellers all the way to the sideline, basically just pushes him, and it's just a perfect setup.
Yeah, that play specifically, I don't think there's any other D lineman on our team that makes that tackle. I think they pulled him back a lot more often than I've seen. So good on Elco and good on Howell for being able to be creative there. I think coming into the second half, it was almost a nightmare scenario of you just saw Marcel throw 2 interceptions. Like you said, could have thrown 5. We have no run game. We were not able to establish a run game at all in the first half. And then you're running empty set. So you have to have Marcel in the pocket. What rational person is going to think, oh yeah, he'll find success in the second half with no threat on the ground whatsoever? There's even more pressure on him now to get the ball out and to find your guys who have been dropping balls in the first half. Everything we had done in the first half was a nightmare scenario for the second, and it's somehow played itself into a beautiful, miraculous victory where Marcel looked the best he's looked all season.
I don't have words for it. But I don't even want to look into it and expose what they did differently, because it was something with the pocket shifting, the way that the D-line was moving. And obviously it's been a theme this year in the second half that we're tougher than everybody. We're stronger than everybody. That's the Moffitt effect. By the fourth quarter, we are leaning on you, and we're getting those chunk runs that we weren't getting in the first half. And that's going to help the offense. Those last couple of drives, we busted some runs that we weren't seeing in the first half. And that set up Marcel to be a little bit more comfortable and drive the ball downfield. So it's crazy to watch.
I do personally wonder if Elco had maybe not, because we're so much later in the season, but going back to whenever Elco made the decision to bench Wegman, I wonder if he had a little bit of that feeling in him. I wonder if he was worried, because that was the complete exact opposite reaction that Marcel had than Wegman had in adversity.
Sounds like a Heisman moment to me, bro.
Yeah.
Well, the fun thing too about Marcel is that was the best half of football he's played. I don't even think that's his ceiling. He's only a sophomore, which people seemingly love to forget, especially when comparing him to some guy named Arch Manning, is that Marcel is young. This is his first year starting on an SEC team, and he's still learning how to go through his progressions. He still has happy feet. He's still can improve his awareness in the pocket. Like this kid, if he wants to stay with us all 4 years, if he doesn't win the Heisman this year, he certainly could in the next couple.
I don't disagree with that at all. I
Yeah,
hope
we
that he's only with us for another year. I hope he beefs up and he's like the number 1 pick next season.
Yeah, we
A
were
lot more
having a group chat conversation about that, about his transition to the NFL. There are some doubts, but we get him some.
Doubts are from you, Shrek.
Hey, I never said they weren't from me, bro. But that's a small guy, bro. He needs to hang out with Moffitt for the next 18 months.
He's gonna be better than Bryce Young, no doubt.
Doubts are rightful for now, but then it's like, okay, you get to the NFL, you develop a little bit, you get some snaps under your belt, and then bang, you're throwing for 450 yards, 3 touchdowns in a divisional game.
Avery, to give you some story on this, AgJack is a very annoying Panthers fan, and he thinks Bryce Young is the second coming of Jesus.
I'm just kidding.
You read my mind. I was wondering what this one-sided beef with Bryce Young is. It's come up multiple times.
Yeah, everyone who listens to our show probably thinks the same thing. They're like, why do they keep gaslighting AgJack about Bryce Young? And it's just a weekly occurrence. It's constant in the group text. If you read our group text, you would be like, holy shit, how are these people not in a mental institution? This is ridiculous. But Bryce Young won this week, so we're up.
Shout out Bryce Young, or apparently not. Where we're at with that. But South Carolina happened. Thank God it's over. That was probably the most normal bottom trophy game you could ever ask for. Thankfully, we keep the trophy. I don't know when we play them again. Maybe, I don't know, because it's not home and home anymore. So I don't know when we play them next.
Ooh.
But we'll see where Shane Beamer sits next year. I'm also interested to see how long he lasts in Columbia. But mute point, looking ahead to Samford, like we said, I get it. You can't overlook anybody. But it's a cupcake game. I'm going to call it what it is. But the difference between a cupcake game now and a cupcake game at the beginning of the season is we really don't have much. Like, there's not much that we're going to see from this game that's going to prove anything to us. Do you think there's anything left that we can see that's going to, like, change your opinion on this team or give you any more hope or make you any more worried? Like, is there anything left?
I want to see us score in exclusively field goals. I want to get Randy Bond as many looks as possible. And if he goes, like, say Randy Bond goes 5 for 6 and all of them are plus 45 yards, that's about the only thing I could see that would make me feel more hopeful, anything like that.
It'll also be a nice live action O'Neal game too. So it'd be nice to see what's in the chamber there.
Yeah, I think it's an O'Neal by halftime. But, like, again, this is going to be – if O'Neal gets in the game, it's Arch playing against the 5'4" white guys in high school. Like, this team is so bad. Like, I don't think you guys even understand. I don't hate Tom Ag's take. Like, let's just line Randy up. Like, first down at the 50-yard line. Randy, get in there. Go make a kick. There's nothing we're going to see. What?
Yeah, throw him in there on second down. Hit that 44-yarder, Randy. Yeah, exactly. Get in his head, Elco.
I think the main thing, and Elco was saying this in the press conference, is this is just an opportunity to show, like, how much better you are than somebody that you should absolutely dominate, essentially. And I think everybody knows that. Like, they don't want to sleepwalk through this game. Take care of business. Get your reps in. Don't get hurt. And, like, let's just go win this thing 70-0 and move on to Texas.
Hey, I just looked it up. The record for Emmitt Smith was 316 rushing yards in 1989 against New Mexico. So y'all can expect 317 from EJ Smith. I'm calling it now.
Dude, we should all get on social media and start pumping that in front of Elco's desk.
Is EJ Smith going to start? Because Ruben's not going to play. I would think Ruben's not going to play.
I'm saying EJ, Morrow.
That makes him running back 1.
And Amari. That's your room.
Hey, Tiger Ryden, bro. They're going to activate him.
Yeah.
His name's Tiger?
Yes, bro.
Oh, that's sick. All right.
His name's Tiger Ryden.
Fourth quarter Tiger riding sighting.
Is he?
I can't wait. I can't wait for the pod, bro. We got some hot takes coming in.
Dude, I think Sam Sauls is gonna get in this bitch.
I'm like, okay, we talked Miles O'Neal. We'll probably see him after halftime. Hopefully see him after halftime. Aside from a few names we've already listed, is there anyone else that you really want to see in this game? Just for the fun of it.
I want to see Terry Bussey do something. Like, let him be the number one of the second team. Like, put him in that position of what it looks like to have him as number one. Because, I mean, there was a lot of hype around him, and I was a big Bussey believer. I still am. But they got to find a way to utilize him because he's going to be like I feel like eventually he'll become that Swiss Army knife piece that, you know, the Saints had with Taysom Hill and just that random dude that does stuff.
I mean, you got to remember, he's still really young. And with like Craver and KCC coming over, that had some shock value to him not having some targets. But I do agree, like him busting, you know, a 100-yard game, at least 4 receptions would be sick.
I know who I don't want to see. Tyler White, keep your ass on the sidelines. I don't want you to get a single rep. Like, we're not punting in this game.
Just let Randy kick a field goal instead.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter where it is.
And we should. That's not a bad idea. Like, get him some live 50-yarders so those stats, every time it's like 50 plus, he's 0 for 10. Like, let's just help him out a little bit.
Let's get him at least 1 for 16.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity.
Or you find out that kid doesn't have it. You just put him out there as many times as you can, and he goes 0 for 5 against Samford. Kill him. Zirkle, you're up.
You know what? It's a great thing that none of us are on the coaching staff. I think that's the takeaway.
We know for sure Tom Ag could not have been on the coaching staff because the entire team would have been like cut after.
Yeah, hey, Avery, I just want you to know this is all a facade. Like this nice, rational Tom that you're seeing that, like, look at him. He's just level-headed and like scoffing at the things that AgKnocks is saying. Like, if you could see our group text during the certain moments of games, it's amazing.
Just go to tweets.
Yeah, the tweet ramble of the first half of South Carolina. Did you leave those up?
I don't delete tweets, dude. I don't believe in deleting tweets.
We'll do a segment where we just read them off one by one.
See, he's been very level-headed. You wouldn't know anything. So we'll keep the tweets on your Twitter. If people want to go find them, I'm sure they can. And I'm sure they don't look any different than 90,000 other people tweeting anything before halftime, to be honest.
It looks different. I promise you.
We'll give him this good rep today. We'll let him decide his reputation on y'all's podcast. He's handled himself well today. I'll give him that.
True.
We'll see how he fares the rest of the season. But I need a legit score prediction before we totally wrap this up. Legit score prediction for Samford. I couldn't find any information on over-under or the spread. Not that it really matters, but nothing. I can't even give you that. So
77-0.
We'll go 6-7-7.
Oh my God! Give me 52-3.
Okay. I'll write this down. It's really one of them.
What about yours?
Yeah.
If no one says
it. Say that one more time.
6-7. I'm a big 6-7 supporter.
So what does that mean exactly?
Does it need to mean anything?
I guess not. Y'all's generation just like doesn't make any sense.
You're about to get worked by somebody at GNC, bro. Don't do this.
Like, to wrap it up, I have my shining star of the week. Actually, two of them. But first, this felt very important for me to highlight, and I felt like I couldn't go a show because it's been a while. But the freaking chair, I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, yes, Mike Elco said, "Oh, we won this game back in August. We won this game a few months ago. This is the way we prepared." We'll figure it out tomorrow night. I don't know what was said. There had to be something in the air in that locker room. There had to be a number of chairs thrown. I am sure. We didn't see any thrown on the sideline. I don't know what it was, but this chair gets all my love in the world. If I could print out 100,000 people, I would print out 100,000 people and shout out the 12th man. But my real shining star is Tyler Onyeta. Tyler Onyeta, I think, has had a few really good games in a row that he hasn't gotten a lot of love for because a lot of what he does not show up on a stat sheet. But he had a sack and a tackle for loss this week, 6 total tackles, if I remember correctly. And he's a big guy that we got from the portal where we had a position group that we thought was going to see a steady decline. So all the love to Tyler Onyeta for what he's been doing. That's all I got to say on that. He's my shining star of the week. A special nod to Isaiah Williams, too, for stepping up when his name was called. Marcel Reed, your time will come when you have a complete game, a.k.a. in 2 weeks in Austin, Texas. Putting it out there now.
Heisman's
Maybe
coming.
it's my prayer of the day. But again, thank you, AgKnocks, for joining me today on a very interesting podcast. What a podcast it was. Tell the people again, if they weren't here at the beginning, who you are, where they can find you, all the things.
We are AgKnocks. You can find us.
Yes, you are.
You can find us at AgKnocks on all platforms. We're on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, the whole social media palette. And I'm AgJack. We've got Tom Ag. We've got Shrek. We've got all of our little burners that we just hype ourselves up on. And we've had a good time. Thanks, Avery, for having us. This has been awesome.
Super appreciate it, Avery.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for sticking with me. We will just keep tabs with each other throughout the rest of the season and hopefully go a little bit into late